on a one-on-one or a virtual environment. So please let me know if you would be interested. Just drop me a line if you're interested in attending one of the online virtual classes, and I'll be able to get in touch with you and we'll arrange that. I'll send you the invite as they are. So we're going to start standing just to warm up a little bit into today's class. It's going to be a little bit powerful to keep us nice and warm and moving, and make sure you feel that you've had a good workout afterwards. So let's start with a gentle roll down. Before we do that, roll yourself or stack yourself up into a nice standing position. This is your posture, so you're just being aware, bringing awareness to your posture. Trying to check that your ankles, knees, hips and shoulders are nicely lined up, and then your ear in line with your shoulder as well. So make sure you're not slouching your head out forwards or even lifting it up high into the sky. So just find a nice comfortable place for your head and neck. You can even move it a little side to side if you still have a little stiffness from the day or from your sleep. And then just soften into your knees and move yourself a little bit backwards and forwards, but keep your feet grounded. So don't lift your toes or your heels. Just kind of find a place where you feel your weight is evenly distributed over your feet, or what feels comfortable for you and natural for you. Perhaps even a little more weight towards the front of your feet, so towards the balls of your feet than on your heels, almost as though you're kind of ready to launch off into a step. And then let's start a roll down. So check that your feet are hip distance apart. We're going to bring your chin to your chest. Let your shoulders just drop. Separate your shoulder blades, draw that belly back. Let your head lead. So don't try and bring your head up and don't push your hips out backwards. You want to peel away from your hips. Lowering down now as you breathe out. Wherever you come to is fine. If your hands are just in line with your shins, that's fine. Just keep it soft. Take a good in-breath now. Nice and wide into your ribs, and then start to draw yourself up, drawing your belly back towards your spine, and just feel your spine stacking again from your tailbone all the way up through your mid-back, your thoracic spine, and up, shoulders and head coming all the way back up to standing. Good, beautiful work. We're going to do another one of those, so just bring your feet across. So we're going to cross your feet over this time, warming up a little bit into the back of your leg, a tiny bit more. Again, chin to chest, and then start to roll down. Now with one foot crossed over in front of the other, and coming down. Take a deep breath in and breathe out. We're going to do another one of those on this side. So two on each side, chin to chest, come down, draw that belly up. Breathing out to come back up to standing. Change over now. So just bring your other foot out and cross in front of the other and roll down. Two of those. Breathing out through your mouth. And again, nice work everyone. Hope you're feeling good today. Just be aware of your feelings and your emotions. We do keep and store a lot in your bodies. So if things are not feeling quite bright, just try and release them through some of this type of work, and just being able to connect with yourself, increasing your feeling of well-being, hopefully. Now we're going to lift one leg, so lift your right leg, and we're rolling down, but just with one leg on the floor. So you're making contact with the floor with one foot, and then just roll down. See what happens. Just kind of play with this one. Obviously starting to switch on some of the stabilizers in that supporting leg, around your ankle and your shin, all the way back up to standing again, and then change now. So your left leg we're going to lift up, just a nice comfortable lift, doesn't really matter where it comes to, and gently go down. Keep your standing leg soft in your knee, so don't lock up onto that knee. Come down and breathe out, come all the way back up to standing. Good, nice. We're just going to walk on the spot a few times. And then coming all the way up onto your toes. So warming up again into the feet. See if you can get up as high as you can up onto your toes. Lift up nice and tall. You can even take your arms up. And then slowly pull your heels down, all the way down again to the mat. Good, we're going to fold forward now with a flat back. So take yourself forward. Nice flat back. Maybe you could even bring your arms out in front of you for a nice, beautiful, long stretching warm-up into the back. And now round. So chin to chest and just round and fold yourself forward for your forward fold, warming up into the hamstrings. If you haven't yet warmed up and you're not quite into this yet, you could walk your legs out a little. So just step it out. And then use your forearms on the back of your calves to gently pull yourself into a half fold. Good, nice. Place your hands onto the mat in front of you and just take your feet a little wider, perhaps about as wide as your mat. And then we're going to come up again with a nice flat back. Take your arms out to the side, drawing that belly back so it's nice and strong. And we're just going to turn towards one side. So introducing a little twist now. Take your baby fingers just past your little toes and then look up towards your other hand towards the ceiling. Good. Come back forward again. Bring yourself into that nice flat back place and then turn the other way. I'm turning away from you now. Try and keep your hips where they are, so don't push them out to the side. No, it's not too serious. We're just introducing gentle twists here. Come back down into the center. Walk forward with your hands. We're going to come down onto your hands and knees. Bring your knees down nice and slowly, and then send yourself back into your nice child's pose. Good, we're going to come forward now into high front support. So first of all, set yourself up into a nice tabletop. Make sure everything feels nice and loose and soft and even and controlled. So you have a nice element of control. Your breath, every time you breathe out, you're pulling your belly up towards your spine. And then tuck your toes in. We're going to just gently pull up to your downward facing dog or V shape. So pull your hips up to the sky and your heels down to the mat. Your chest back towards your thighs, lifting your kneecaps while you pull your heels down and let your head hang nice and heavy. This is a beautiful inversion, so your head is below your heart. One more breath, and then we're going to scooch forward into a nice front support. So I'm just moving my hands a little bit forward for this. You want to bring your shoulders back up over your wrists, and then pull out through your heels, nice and strong, pulling your heart through your shoulders. Maybe activating those abdominals a little more by pulling your wrists or the heel of your hand a little back towards your feet. And just hold this nice and strong for 5, 4, good work everybody, stamina in the muscles here, 3, for 2, one last one. Now we're going to move between that downward facing dog place and your forward fold. So again, lifting your hips up, you want to feel as though now you've got a cable drawing your hips up, and you're going to pull them back down into your front support. And they're going to just pop back up again. And pull down. Good, nice. Take it nice and slow. With each one, maybe you can pull your heels down a little more. Perhaps you could pull yourself a little bit flatter and stronger here. Pulling up through your hips, up on your tippy toes, and then allow your heels to come down. We're going to do just 2 more. Warming up into the shoulder girdle now. And down, good. Lowering your knees, so just push back, bring your knees down nice and slowly, and then send your bum all the way back up over your heels. Just to rest that out, push back with your hands, drop your forehead onto the mat, breathe deeply now into your ribs, expand your rib cage out in the back capacity of your lungs. And then as you breathe out, fall into the space you make.
So don't let yourself come up away from your thighs. Rather, continue falling. Coming forward again, and we're just going to scoot yourself over onto your seat. Come all the way around onto your seat, place your feet down onto the mat, and we're going to roll down to the mat. So breathe in to prepare. Sit up nice and tall on your sitting bones. And in your own time, slowly start to work your way back. So you're going to scoop that belly round, a C shape into your spine. And with control, lowering yourself one vertebrae at a time until your shoulders and your head are down on the mat, bringing your feet in a little closer. We're going to bring your knees in to give your spine a little bit of a stretch here. Just rock around onto the mat, maybe a little side to side. Make sure everything just feels good and in place, and then place your feet back down on the mat. Breathing in to prepare, and as you breathe out, slowly lift your hips up away from the mat. Pull your knees away from you and feel that nice tension that you can create in the front of your body. Keeping your ribs contained. Keep your hips nice and level. We're going to come down from here now. So slowly come down your upper back, your mid back, tailbone. Roll it back out onto the mat. Good work. Breathe in to prepare, and as you breathe out, slowly start to scoop your hips all the way back up again. At the top, give it a nice squeeze so you really feel that the glutes are active here. Breathe in to hold, and then slowly come down, bringing your rib cage down to the mat first, then mid back, lower back, come into that nice neutral spine position once more. Breathe in to prepare and take it up again. Good, we're holding and going to take your weight over to one leg. So just stabilize yourself through the supporting foot, send your right foot up to the sky to start, and then bring it all the way down, just until it's just above the mat, so not too high up. Most important focus here is to keep your hips nice and level, so you don't want to let this hip fall down to the side. So keep pulling up, pull away from you with that toe. Make sure your weight is on your shoulders, not on your neck. And abdominals are nice and active and strong, and you're using your back muscles to help here. We're going to lift your leg up and then just lower down. Pull it away from you as we do that. Keep your breath work going. So the abdominals are really working nicely here to keep this connection with your leg. Keep your toe pointed so you get a nice connection through your spine. And for 5, 4, good work, 3, 2, 1, last one. Now, hold that leg. We're going to add a little cycling work now. So you're going to bring that foot back and then push it away from you like a bicycle going backwards. Good, keep powering through that supporting leg and change direction now. So bring it to you, your knee towards your shoulder and lift. For 3, for 4. One last one. Beautiful work. Hold. Just try and sustain again for a breath or two. And then bring that foot down onto the mat to meet your other foot. Slowly lower down again. Let's just take a small recovery. Bringing your feet in towards you, or your knees in towards you. Your feet off the mat. And a breath, of course, don't forget the breath. Place your feet back down onto the mat. We're going to change now. So when you're ready, send your hips up away from you. Release your one leg up to the sky. Just draw it up through your toes. Bring it down almost to above the mat. And pull down. Feel that pull as you come down with that leg. So it almost just bounces back up. That's Pilates. Connecting to the abdominals, work the glutes and the spine through your nice pointed toe. And your breath. For 4, for 3, and 2. One last one, change it into a cycle, and I'll bring it back and cycle your bicycle here with as big a pedal as you can make. Working hard into the supporting glute. Changing direction now. Knee comes back to shoulder. And 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good work. Place the foot down on the mat again and slowly roll your back down. Come back in again, just for a little gentle recovery and stretching of the glutes a little bit. Enjoy. Place your feet down onto the mat again. We're going to roll all the way back up to seat now. So take your legs up nice and straight. Bring your arms up overhead. Stretch through. Breathe in to prepare and breathe out. Slowly start to come up to your seat. See how much control you can get again with that coming up. And good, let's fold forward now. So I want you to reach forward towards your toes, firstly with a flat back. See how much you can come out of your hips. You could even take a little flesh out from underneath you, coming up onto your sitting bones. Reach forward, flat back, and then slowly lower down. Fold forward. This is just what we did standing earlier. Maybe you feel a little bit more range now, having worked actively into those legs. And then slowly just release that. Good, beautiful. We're going to go back down to the mat and just work your way up into the abdominals. So breathe in to prepare. Let's start coming down. You can have your legs straight or bent, whichever works for you for this. We're coming down. And then we're going to bring your legs to tabletop to start. Now, if it doesn't work for you to have your legs in tabletop, or you're feeling any discomfort in your lower back, then either bring your feet down to the mat, or place a little cushion or towel, or your hands in a diamond shape underneath your hips. So just make those adjustments to make sure that you're working in a place you feel comfortable and safe. If you're able to hold your hands down beside you, then do that. We're going to lower one toe to the mat at a time. Good. Your upper body needs to be soft, so make sure you're not bracing your neck here and your ribs sticking out. So soften them, ground your chest, the back of your chest, and slowly lower your toe to the mat. Draw it back. With each one, you're going to keep the angle of your knee the same if you're not familiar with these toe taps. And the flex takes place at the hip flexor. So you're connecting the abdominals with the hip flexor, lowering your toe down almost as far away from your butt as you can without straightening your knee. So you keep it at 90 degrees here. Lowering down, feel that nice connection, and then draw it back in again, pulling the belly back towards the spine. The slower you do these, the more beneficial they are, really. Good, bring it in, take another squeeze. Hold on to your shins, pull them back in towards you. Now again, you've got options to put your feet on the mat or hold them here, whichever one works best for you. Now we're going to interlace your fingers behind your head, breathing out to lift into your chest lift and lower down. straight up to the sky. We're going to start with your hands up overhead, and then bring your arms forward. Slowly, gently push them as though you're pushing them down through thick, gooey stuff down onto the mat. Release and breathe out. Come all the way up as far as you can, sliding your ribcage down towards your hips as you come up. Take time on your breath to develop a little bit more strength each time. Alright, are we good for 4? Keep pulling up through your toes. And 3. Keep drawing your belly back towards your spine as you come up. 2. One last one. Breathing in, breathe out. Good, nice work. Place your feet back into tabletop. And then we're going to reach for your ankles now. So bring your hands out kind of in line with your knees. We're going to lift your shoulders and reach, just touch your ankle on each side. So touch, touch, touch. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. One more round. Good. Bring it down. Golly, I think I've been goofing off too much by the looks of it. Alright, good. We're going to combine a little bit of both those pieces of work now, incorporating your legs into the whole move as well as your roll up. Remember, if back is not happy, then come back to one of the previous versions of this, so a simpler version of this, whichever that's going to be for you. We're going to add a little roll with your hands, so just try with your arms. Roll your arms, bring your chin up towards your chest, and feel as though you're rolling yourself up to seat. Just find that for once or twice. And then roll backwards with your arms. You can either make fists or you can keep your hands straight. Just roll that back. Roll up. And roll down. Okay, you got that? Rolling up. Rolling down. Now add legs. This time we're going to pedal forward with your legs and come up. And then pedal back and come down. How nice does that feel? Forwards again. Change it out to go back. Oops, it's really difficult to co-ord here for me. Coming up. And feel the weight literally transfer now from your feet to your upper body as you kind of roll into this space. So you want to feel your weight dropping into your feet as you're coming up. And then the other way as you come down. Let's just do one more here. Good. Come back down. Maybe you want to take it nice and slowly for the last one. And bring it in again. Just hold on to your kneecaps now. Gently touch onto your kneecaps. Bring your feet together. Let's take a few nice hip circles. So you open your knees out, pull them in towards you. Close them in together and just allow them to go out away from you. And for 2. And for 1 more. You're going to cross your feet over at the ankles and roll yourself all the way up now, coming over your knees. Back onto your hands and knees. As before. Good, again just move around here, make sure everything feels nice and soft. You can take this chance to give yourself a few little back extensions. So pulling your heart through your shoulders, pull a little bit back with your wrists towards your knees. So you can stretch those abdominals that we've worked now. And then a nice flex as you bring your chin to your chest. Separate your shoulder blades. Tuck your tailbone. And squeeze a little bit between your knees. Then unravel that again. Just lift. Keep your head, the back of your head nice and long away from your tailbone. So don't look up too high and crunch the back of your neck necessarily, but you can lift your head. Tuck, squeeze between your knees, and take one more nice stretch. See if you can feel that nice stretch in the abdominals, and the shoulders stay down away from your ears, down your back. Good, nice. And then come back forward, just into your tabletop. Take a little break. Now we're going to tuck your toes in and take them out nice and wide. So your toes come out nice and wide, bring your knees out nice and wide, and then just send your bum back a few times. So just opening up into the hips a little bit with a nice wide, kind of like a frog's pose, but your feet are out wide as well. Just a few openings. And then see if you can come all the way up onto your feet. So either hop up onto your toes, and if this is where you're comfortable on your toes, it's fine. You can keep your heels up, but you might want to just take a little book or a cushion and put it underneath your heels. Otherwise, you could take your feet out a little wider. Let me just turn, and then you should be able to put your heels down to the mat if they come out wider. And you can just work into this space. We're going to use your hands either together or in a fist, or maybe you can bring your knuckles together to use your elbows to just open out into your knees, and at the same time lifting your chest. So find this space. Maybe it's a nice comfortable goddess pose for you, which you can just stay in, or you can start to introduce a little bit of movement, just lifting into each foot, opening out into each knee, opening out into those hips, lifting that chest a little bit more, maybe just lifting one foot at your toes at a time. So really starting to also activate and work into these shin muscles for your stability in this place. And if it doesn't feel quite comfortable yet, then just see where you're at with it, breathe into it. You can keep yourself down. I know some people just find it better to be here, but obviously remember that the more you lift your chest, the more your tailbone is going to lower. So you need to make space for your tailbone to lower as you progress into this place, whatever it is for you. Everybody's got their own different ranges, specifically in their hips, so just let it be what it is for you. But we're going to spend a little bit of time here and a little bit of time working on this range within your hips. Okay, good. So from here now, I want you to just feel as though you're pushing a little bit more with your elbows. You can even open your arms out, push, but at the same time, use your muscles in your legs to push your arms back. So it's kind of like a fight. I push you open, and then your legs kind of push you back in. Just once or twice. Even if it's a really small little piece of movement, it just stabilizes. Good. It's a little bit active while you're here. Good. Now place your hands down onto the mat. We're going to lift your tailbone up, folding forward, stretching into the hamstrings with your toes pointing out. So a little bit into the inner thighs and come down. Your head goes down, your hips come up, and then just pull your heels, a little bit of activation between your heels. So you really work into the inner thighs and come back down. Good. And just one more here. And come back down. I'm going to turn again to the side. So whichever way you were at, I want you to place your hands down onto the mat. We're going to walk your feet back. So step them back, first of all, into your downward facing dog. And then lift your right leg up to the sky. Now keep both hips facing the mat for this one. So make those adjustments. Pull the standing leg down to the mat. So don't be tempted to pull it up with you and open out at this stage. I want you to pull that toe as though it's got a cable connected to it and it's really pulling away from you. And then as you exhale, contract it into center, look between your hands and draw this knee quite nice and tight and close up to you so that you can place the foot down onto the mat between your hands. Good. Now here, keep a little weight in your hands. Keep your knee above your ankle and just lower down, pull back up. Keep your legs active so you're not just falling into this, but it's a nice active opening out. Good. 2. And one last one. Now we're going to step this foot back, so prepare to launch. Send it up to the sky. Bring it down to meet your foot on the mat again and change. Now bringing your left leg in. First take it out, pull it away from you. Almost feel as though someone's pulling it right out of your hip socket. Hold it. Square your hips. Breathe in, and as you breathe out, contract it in close to your chest. Look between your hands and place your foot on the mat between your hands. If it doesn't go there and it lands here somewhere, that's fine. Then you can just pick it up and put it there, and then it'll slowly learn to go there. I promise. Nice, good. Let this be whatever it is for you. You can even lengthen your spine slightly so you can come forward with a nice long flat back. So you're not completely arched and hunched over here. Good, when you're ready, we're going to step it back again, so launch it high into the sky. Bring it down to meet your foot on the mat. From here, we're going to step things up a little bit into some nice active work. So we're coming forward into your front support as you were earlier in the class. We're going to bring your right leg in outside your right hand. So bring it in, take it out, left in, take it out. Use your breath. Good. 4, for 3, for 2. Now keep your right leg outside your right hand, and we're just going to either stay there and just keep it nice and open. This time as you add a little gentle coming down and lifting up. If it's too much for you on your wrists now, you could come down to your knee and still just work into that space a little bit into your hips. Or you're going to stay on your toe at the back and then hold onto the inside of your knee, push it away from you a little, and then just lower. So now you see you're making just a little bit more space into that hip. Good, now placing your hand back down, send that leg out back, and then we're going to bring your left leg in. So left leg is going to come outside left hand, and just hold on to the inside of the knee, gently push it away from you, or any of the other variations you tried with the previous side. And open up, making space. Coming back again into your high front support. Now, we're going to pop yourself back up into your downward facing dog just for a rest. Take a breath here. When you're ready, we're going to jump or step either side of your hands again. So your feet coming wide to the outside of your mat, either side of your hands. You can step it forward, or you can bend your knees a lot and float forward. Landing softly outside your hands, back into this place. And just see, notice for yourself now, if you feel like you can come up a little bit more upright, if you feel a bit more comfortable in this space, or if it's still very tight, that's okay. These things take time, but they don't take forever. So just know that you can progress if you want to with these things. If it's not really your thing, that's also okay, no problem. Alright, I'm going to place my hands back down onto the mat. Pushing my hips back up again. Good, and then just step that back. Now we're going to push your hips back up again. Bring your right leg up, and this time I want you to open out into that hip. So I'm just making a few adjustments with my hands here so that I'm nice and square. And then I'm going to open out that hip, bending my leg at the top, flexing my foot at the top. and almost look underneath my armpit at you this time, so away from my top foot. Just really feeling that beautiful opening out. Then I'm going to bring this knee nice and wide. Again, look between my hands and place it on the mat between my hands. Ground my knee at the back. Come onto the top of my foot. Coming back now with this front leg. Trying to straighten it out. Keep a flat back if you can. Work between having your toes down and your toes lifted. And then if you want to, when you've lifted your toes, it's nice and straight and opening to the back of this knee, and you can feel the pull all the way from where your bum meets your thigh. Then you could round yourself down so your nose comes to your knee. And then come back forward. Just easy. Come back into your all fours here. Good. Move around, make sure everything feels fine. Maybe wag your tail a little. Tuck your toes in again. Up with your hips. Ground your right foot and send your left leg up to the sky. Bend the knee, flex your foot. Turn it and open it. Look under your armpit. Away from your foot. Some away from you now. Bring it now nice and wide. So take that knee around in a big full circle and then tuck it in close to your chest. Look between your hands, place it down. Come down onto your knee, top of your foot, and then start moving your bum backwards towards your heel so that this front leg comes nice and straight. Keep your hands where they are, framed either side of your foot. And then slowly you can work between a pointed foot or toes down and toes up. So just really pulling backwards and forwards, working into that stretch, working the back of your knees. The hamstrings run all the way through, back of the knee. So it's not locking that knee. Notice the difference between having a strong, opened knee and a locked knee. And try not to lock up onto that joint. And then, from your flat back place, round yourself into a nice rounded position, just dropping your nose to your knee and feeling the difference there. Good. Come back into your all fours, onto your all fours, should I say. And from there, we're going to just give it a little break so that we can work into your shoulders a bit. So maybe bring your feet crossed over and up towards your bum if you want, or you can keep them down on the floor. Your hands a little further forward and slowly lower down. And release back up. Again, if you get the feeling that you're pulling yourself down, as you release up, it should be really easy. And you don't have to bring your chin and chest down towards the mat, down to the mat completely. You can just come down. If here's where you feel you're going to suddenly lose it into your spine, then stop there rather than coming down here and kind of sagging your back and then feeling like you have to push and crunch your back as you get back up. So keep it nice and strong all the way as though you're being pulled back in your hips. And we're just going to do 5 for 4, 3, 2. Good. Pull your wrists a little towards each other as you come up. It'll work extra into the pectorals. Nice. So, we're going to try for the splits now. Again, just depending where you've been at with the rest of the workout. And it really doesn't matter where you go to. It just gives you a chance to say, okay, that's where I'm at now, and that's where I'm staying. Or, okay, that's where I'm at now. With a little bit of practice in this every day, I maybe want to move somewhere else. Again, totally up to you. Not a challenge by any means. So I'm bringing my left foot back in, and I'm just going to come down on that. So I'm letting that foot go forward and just come down. See if you find a place that's your limit. That's about it for me, which is progress, I can tell you, from maybe a few years ago. And then just try with your right leg. as well. Scoot your foot forward. Notice if one feels a little different to the other. And there we are. Coming back in again. Great work, everybody. Take a little seat and a break. We're going to come back onto our backs and close off really from here. If you have any comments or feedback or things you specifically want to focus on, please send me a note and then I can do so in the next classes. But I'm going to just scoot my feet through now, back onto my seat. And let's roll all the way back down to the mat. Good, nice. Bring your legs back up again. Just squeeze them in. Again, a few little hip circles. In one direction, and then change. Soften your breath, allow your heart rate to soften again. Lower your feet down to the mat and your legs. Let your feet just flop to the sides now so they kind of just hang out of your hips. And you can stay here in your resting pose as long as it feels good for you. Take a breath. Be aware of your body and how you feel. Slowly seal your lips, allow your breath to enter and exit just through your nose. I'm going to begin to roll up, but you guys can stay in this place longer if you feel you need to. It's a really valuable place to just spend some time, specifically after a workout, to allow your body to just reset, to settle and to heal, to nourish your body with all that oxygenated blood supply that you've just generated through your breath and through moving, through some of the constrictions, and then the letting go of those spaces and internal organs as well, with all of the kind of contortions that we got ourselves into today. So just be aware that all of this work is good, but it can also be quite emotional, because especially working with your hips, it is where we hold a lot of emotion. So if it makes you feel a little bit sad, that's okay. Just let it go, work with it, try to release it, and then see if that feels like some sense of healing for you, if it's necessary. If it just felt great, that's good. And I hope it didn't feel horrible for you, so most importantly. Alright, great, nice spending time with you again. Have a great, beautiful week whenever you're doing this. It's Sunday for me now, so it's going to be the beginning of the week soon, and a great way to start it. And hopefully I'll see you in classes. Studio will be opening again soon, yay, and we'll have some in-studio classes. But it is my intention to keep these classes going, just to give you something that you can continue to use if you've been enjoying it. And if you'd like to share it and pass it on as well, subscribe, then you get alerted of new classes. That would be really great. And feedback and comments always welcome. Thank you. Bye-bye. Namaste.